Hey class, Mrs. Gilling back again for your Unit 2 video assignment where we're going to be learning about the project you're going to be working on in the next 2 units, all about creating your own future city. Before we do that, the joke of the unit, you ready? My husband actually told me this one, so if you don't like it, you can blame him, okay? So, what rock group has men that don't sing? Mount Rushmore! Get it? Because they're a rock group, but they don't sing. I actually saw Mount Rushmore when I was a kid. It's pretty cool. So if you didn't like the joke, maybe you can still like Mount Rushmore. Anyways, let's go into your project and what you have to look forward to there. So here's a little bit of background for your project about the future city. So urban city planners try to figure out the best way to use the land in cities and neighborhoods. They decide where to build houses, stores, parks, schools, and roads. To do their job successfully, they need to balance many things, such as housing, jobs, schools, traffic, and the environment. Planners are expected to update or make new plans even before more people move into a city. They find out where people live, as well as how many people use the streets, highways, water, sewers, schools, libraries, museums, and parks. Planners listen to the advice of people who live in the communities. With these and many other facts, they explain the new plans and work to make them happy. So, making a city requires a lot. If you have to have a huge knowledge, a huge background knowledge of geography if you want to be able to make a city, because it's more than just putting in a few roads and putting in some few buildings. You need to know what the culture is like so you can understand what kind of buildings to put in, what kind of buildings will people live in. You need to understand what the soil's like so you know what kind of buildings will work on that kind of soil. There's a lot that goes into it. And so to help you kind of get a better understanding of geography and to help you understand what city planners do, you get to create your own brand new city of the future. You will present your plans for your city in either a well thought out essay or a slideshow presentation. So this gives you a little bit of choice here. So you can either write an essay or you can do a slideshow. So here's the essay option. Write a paper with at least 5 paragraphs where you explain your future city in great detail. Your paper must include the following. So first of all, you need to have an introductory paragraph, and that's worth 15 points. In your introductory paragraph, make sure to have an attention getter where you're trying to grab the reader's interest, right? So you may start off with a short story, an interesting fact, a joke, a quote, just something to grab the reader's attention. And then let them know what your thesis statement is and your main points of your essay. Then you have your body paragraphs, and they're worth 50 points. So you must have a minimum of 3 body paragraphs, but for this essay, it might actually be easier for you to have more. So maybe to have more paragraphs, but maybe a little bit shorter, because you do have a lot of information that you need to cover. So you can do it in 3 if you feel like you can do it, but if you want to do it kind of as sections as a paper, so if you want to go city name and year and have that be a section, and then do a space and then do housing and have that be a section, that would be fine as well. It's up to you. I think it would be easier to do the sectioning, but if you feel like you can condense information and put it together in short paragraphs and still get all the required stuff, then you're definitely welcome to do that as well. But in your body paragraphs, you need to first let me know what the city name is and the year that city is going to be created. So you can use some creativity here. You can say it's going to be in the year 3000 or the year 2030, whatever floats your boat, whatever you want to do. Then you need to let me know about housing. How is housing set up in your future? Include the types of homes and their location within the city. Make sure to consider potential weather issues, wildlife, soil conditions, etc. Then you want to talk about transportation. Explain details about transportation in your future city, including how and where people travel, either within the city or to other cities. So if your city's far away from other cities, how are people going to get there? If they live close to each other, what kind of transportation will you have to get people from point A to point B? Then you're going to talk about jobs and schools. Explain details about the jobs and schools in your future city, including where people work, the types of jobs, retail, blue collar, white collar, locations of schools, K-12, college, trade, and the design of buildings. Then you'll talk about parks and museums. Explain details about the parks and recreation in your future city. Examples could include the design and location of both small and large recreation areas such as parks, museums, stadiums, or water parks. Then you're going to learn about or explain about in your future city garbage, sewage, and recycling. This is important because there's some cities that don't have good garbage and recycling. They're kind of stinky. So you do want to think about this. Explain details about garbage, sewage, and recycling, including where waste is sent and how it is processed. Also include different recyclable materials such as paper, plastic, water, etc. Then there's other potential issues. Explain details about 2 to 3 potential issues and benefits, including new technologies, city growth, or even annexation of the city. It is the future after all. So don't just be thinking about here and now. Be thinking, 10, 20 years in the future of your city, what problems could come up? What benefits could come up? What are some things that could happen in your city to where your city may have to adapt and change? Then do a summary and survey. Explain briefly how you felt about the project. Which part of your new city are you most proud of? Which part of your new city was most difficult to plan? So that allows you to kind of debrief a little bit and go, what did I like about this project? What was difficult? What would I change about my city? That sort of thing. Then you'll need to do your conclusion, worth 15 points. Your last paragraph should remind the reader of your thesis statement and main points. You will need to do some outside research for this. It's important to kind of, explore some websites, look at some books, and see what you can learn about cities to know what to do in your city. So you'll get 10 points for your citations, and make sure that your citations are in MLA format, and you need to use at least 3 sources. And then grammar is worth 10 points. So double check your essay for punctuation, spelling, capitalization. Make sure it's written really well so you can get full points there. So that's option number 1, the paper. Option number 2 is the slideshow, and honestly it includes pretty much the same information, but instead of putting it in a paper format, you're going to put it in a Google slide, or you're going to put it in a PowerPoint, whatever works for you. So create a slideshow presentation with at least 10 slides where you explain your future city in great detail. Please make sure to include a slideshow theme and pictures. Each slide will be worth 10 points, and the requirements are listed below. So you need to start off, your first slide needs to be a title slide where you include your name and the title of your project. So like Susan Gilling, Future City Project. Then slide 2, you're going to list the city name and year. What's your city name going to be and what year will it be created? Slide number 3, you're going to talk about housing, just like we talked about in the paper. Explain how housing is set up in your future city. Slide number 4, you're going to talk about transportation. Explain the details of transportation in your future city. Slide number 5, jobs and schools, just like we talked about in the essay portion. Slide number 6, you talk about parks and museums. Slide number, I look like it skipped over some numbers here, but the next slide, parks and museums, then garbage, sewage, and recycling, then other potential issues, summary and survey, and then you'll list your sources. So just like with the paper, you need to do some studying to make sure that you're fully understanding how you're creating your city, and you're going to include your sources there. Let me back up one slide to make sure we got everything that we need there. It doesn't want to let me back up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're good. So yeah, so we'll do all that there, and that's your option number 2. If you have any questions at all about how to complete this assignment, let me know. But I do want you to do a good job on it. That's why you get 2 units to work on it. That should give you plenty of time. And make sure that if you're doing the slideshow option that you are putting a theme into it and putting pictures in there, making it look good. If you do have questions, let me know and I'll help you out. But other than that, good luck, and we will talk to you guys later.